All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. My name is Kelli Easterly, and I am president of the Board of Commissioners here at the MWRD. It is my privilege to welcome all of you to our Black History Month celebration and program. If you could give yourselves a round of applause for just making it here, thank you. Now, if everyone can please, the ones standing, if you could remain standing, but maybe pivot towards the flag. If we could take a pause for just a minute. Everyone else, please rise and let's pause the food line and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to acknowledge my colleagues on the Board of Commissioners. We have right here our very supportive Vice President, Teresa Flynn. We also have our Commissioner, Precious Brady Davis. And we have Commissioner Beth McElroy Kirkwood. And we bring you greetings from the entire Board of Commissioners. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our Executive Director, John Murray, for making this celebration possible and for always letting us have celebrations to celebrate everybody's culture at MWRD. Thank you, John. If you could please wave to make sure everyone knows exactly who you are. I would also like to warmly welcome all of our employees that are here today and the ones who are joining us virtually. We thank you all for tuning in. And for everyone who's not able to be here or join us virtually, this session will be recorded and available on our website in the future. Now, if you could turn to the back of your program, you'll find the words to our Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. And we have a very special guest here today to sing our Black National Anthem, singer and songwriter Zion Ali. Zion Ali, if you could please step forward, and he is going to sing our Black National Anthem for us. You guys can read along or sing along.
Groovy, let's do this together. Awesome. We're gonna be singing in the key of A. Right on. Okay. You ready? Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let all rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Tenors, come on. Dun, dun, dun. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the presence has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Second verse, stony the road we tried, bitter the chastising rod, felt in the day that hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, have I not weary feet come to the place on which our Father signed. Turners, come on, let's go. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from our gloomy past, so now we stand at last, where the white gleam of a star is cast. Last verse. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou hast brought us this far on the way. Thou who hast thy might, let us into the light. Keep us fair in the path we pray. Last time, tenors, come on, come on. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand may forever stand. True to our God, true to our native land. Y'all better make some noise, black kids. Y'all did a great job. Ah!
Well, give it up one more time for Zion Ali. Now, for those of you who have not heard Zion Ali perform before, let me tell you, he is everywhere in the community, uplifting our children, encouraging our children, and I just found out he had a great singing voice when we went to visit the Leo Choir Boys. I knew him as a positive rapper who rapped around the city encouraging all the kids. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, he can. And then all of a sudden I said, wait a minute, he can sing. Can you all turn up my microphone, please? And everyone in the food line, we just whisper. But so I was saying, Zion Ali, he is going places. We'll be able to say, remember that day when he performed at Water Reclamation, when he's somewhere getting his Grammy. So give it up for Zion Ali one more time. All right, so Black History Month is a time to honor the achievements, contributions, and resilience of African Americans throughout our history, and to reflect on how legacies shape our work and communities today. This year's theme, Waves of Innovation, 100 Years of Black Excellence in STEM and Water, celebrates the tremendous impact Black scientists, engineers, inventors, and environmental leaders have made and continue to make in fields essential to our mission here at the MWRD, which is to protect the health and safety for the residents of all Cook County. As many of you know, my career began in the laboratory here at the MWRD, then the Water Department, and at L'Oreal USA. My experiences taught me the importance of science, technology, and innovation in protecting public health and the environment, but it also taught me that representation matters. As I always say, you have to see it if you can be it. And I am definitely a living example of that statement. Because if I did not see it, if I didn't see the scientists and the engineers here at Water Reclamation, I would not be standing here today. So I'm very connected and passionate to this subject matter today. When we celebrate Black excellence in science and water, we are not just honoring history, we are inspiring our next generation to imagine themselves as those innovators, those leaders, and the problem solvers. And at this point, it is now my pleasure to welcome Commissioner Precious Brady Davis, who will share a brief historical perspective on this year's theme. Everyone give Commissioner Precious Brady Davis a round of applause.
Thank you, Madam President. Good afternoon, everyone. I said good afternoon. Happy Black History Month. As we reflect on Black History Month, we recognize trailblazers whose brilliance and determination helped open doors in science, technology, engineering, and environmental innovation. Their contributions laid the foundation for the opportunities and advancements we benefit from today. We think of visionaries like George Washington Carver, whose agricultural research revolutionized sustainability and shaped environmental science. Dr. Mae Jemison, a physician and NASA astronaut who became the first Black woman in space. And the pioneering NASA mathematicians and engineers, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson. If you haven't seen the movie Hidden Figures, you must see it. It's amazing. Their groundbreaking work made space exploration possible. Their stories remind us of that progress is built on creativity, courage, and the pursuit of knowledge, even in the face of barriers. And the list continues. There are countless scientists, innovators, and those who contributed and have transformed not only STEM fields, but our entire society. Their legacy challenges us to broaden access, expand opportunity, and to support that talent that exists in every community. It now gives me great pleasure to welcome Vice President Teresa Flynn, who will highlight present-day water leaders.
Hello. I would also like to acknowledge my colleague, Commissioner Yumika Brown, joining us here today. So give a Queen's wave. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Brady Davis. In the water sector specifically, we honor leaders whose work has shaped environmental justice, public health, and the way we understand responsibility to future generations. We honor people like Dr. Robert Bullard, known as the father of environmental justice, whose research and advocacy have helped bring national attention to the inequitable environmental burdens faced by Black and Brown communities. We also celebrate leaders such as Cheryl Porter, Chief Operating Officer of the Great Lakes Water Authority and the first Black woman to serve as president of the American Water Works Association. That's our world, so thank you. Her leadership continues to advance equity, innovation, and resilience in water services across the country. These figures exemplify what it means to serve with excellence. Their work reminds us that progress in STEM and water is not just technical, it is deeply human. Their legacies inspire us to continue expanding representation and empowering future generations to lead in science, engineering, technology, and environmental stewardship. I would now like to turn the program over to Commissioner Beth McElroy-Kirkwood, who will tell us more about the photos that adorn this room here today. Thank you again for joining us, and I appreciate being welcome to this panel today. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Flynn. Hello, everyone. As you look around, there are archival photographs honoring former district employees whose dedication, skill, and leadership helped shape our agency's history. These images celebrate the trailblazers who paved the way, individuals who contributed to our mission long before today's technologies and systems existed. Each photograph reflects a moment in our shared history and reminds us of the generations of Black professionals whose excellence, innovation, and service strengthened this agency and the communities we serve. Also, I want to thank our Environmental Justice Section and the Office of Public Affairs for finding these precious photos. We display them with gratitude and pride, recognizing that their legacy continues to inspire our work and our commitment to equity, progress, and representation. It now gives me great pleasure to welcome Commissioner Yumika Brown, who will introduce our keynote speaker.
Good afternoon, everyone. I get the pleasure of introducing our esteemed speaker. Thank you, Commissioner Kirkwood. This year's theme reminds us that progress is driven by visionaries who challenge the status quo and create opportunities for others. Our keynote speaker embodies that spirit through her dedication to education, leadership, and equity in STEM. Dr. Kelli Easterly currently serves as the Managing Director of STEM at Distinctive Schools, where she leads the design, implementation, and continuous improvement of high-quality STEM learning experiences for students throughout the network. Previously, Dr. Easterly served as the Executive Director of the Department of STEM for Chicago Public Schools, overseeing district-wide strategies in mathematics, science, and computer science, as well as whole school STEM programming. Where is she? Oh, hi. Her academic and professional journey includes roles as a high school science teacher, a program manager, an instructional specialist, assistant principal, and director of basic sciences. She holds a Doctor of Chiropractic degree from the National University of Health Sciences, a Master of Arts in Teaching from National Louis University, and a Bachelor's of Science in Biology from DePaul University. Dr. Easterly's career demonstrates her unwavering commitment to expanding equitable access to STEM education and preparing the next generation of innovators, problem solvers, and environmental leaders. Please stand in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Kelli Easterly.
Right. They told me I have to work with the tech for a second. Good afternoon, everybody. My presentation. We are. Got it. So I do want to see your faces, but in order to read, I have to take my glasses off. So you all are going to be a blur for a second, so I won't be able to see reactions. I'm just going to assume they're all smiles. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here, and sincerely from the bottom of my heart, thank you for the work you do each and every day. I cannot tell you what an honor it is to be part of MWRD's Black History Celebration and to reflect on the theme, 100 Years of Black Excellence in STEM and Water. Today, I want to do two things with you. The first thing is, of course, honor the past century of innovation. And the second is to invite us to think about what the next century will require of all of us. Because this is not just a story about infrastructure. It's a story about people, a story about confidence, and who gets to see themselves as problem solvers. And just a heads up, I am a teacher at my core. So at some point, I'm going to ask you, you should expect to do some thinking, some talking to your neighbors, and some writing today. All right. So let's jump in. Let's start by taking a quick look back at what you all have been up to over the past century. So with my AI research assistant and Google, this is what we found. Y'all have been really busy. From the Calumet Project in the 1920s to the Stickney Plant, TARP Initiative, green infrastructure, nutrient recovery, and the scale of operations today, when I see all of this work, I see STEM all up in it. Applied math, applied science, applied engineering. This is it. This is STEM. What I love about this timeline is that it reminds us some of the most important work in STEM is the work that most people never see, but everybody depends on. This is what STEM looks like when it protects public health. It's complex, multi-layered, and complicated. But we know innovation like this can never happen in isolation. I mean, just look around the room. And I know this is just a really small fraction of the entire staff across this district. You all make things happen every single day that most people don't know about. And honestly, the work has to happen this way, collaboratively. I take I don't know what generation you're from, but I take either the Voltron or Power Rangers approach to my work, where when we combine forces, we're stronger and better together. And each person, when we combine, brings a little bit of their lived experiences and perspectives, and we're able to innovate faster than without it. So during the same century, you all were extremely busy. There was a lot happening in the world of Black scientists and educators and engineers. So the work that you all do every day, let me get back to my script. The work that you all do every day is dependent on major aspects that would have slowed down had the contributions of this is just a sample of the individuals that have impacted your work. So the mathematics and computational modeling that you rely on for controls and optimization of water management. We get to thank the contributions of our hidden figures, Katherine Johnson and Mary Jackson. Katherine Johnson, of course, you know, was made notable for her trajectory analysis and contributions to Black excellence in computation. And Mary Jackson, NASA's first Black engineer, helped advance how engineers understand boundary layers and turbulent flow. Those same invisible forces determine efficiency and performance in the pipes, tunnels, and treatment processes that protect our city and county. Those who work to address benefits and risk of infrastructure choices probably do their job better due to the environmental justice push from Hazel Johnson. I normally move around when I talk, so me being stuck here is troublesome. I'm gonna try and get this to work. Hello, perfect. So Hazel Johnson, Chicago's very own Hazel Johnson, was a pioneer linking pollution to health impacts and accountability. We know every single infrastructure decision you all make impacts flooding protection and public health outcomes. Thank you to Hazel for pushing us to make sure these decisions were equitable. And then what do we do with all that rain? Breakthroughs in climate science and climate-informed modeling predicting storm intensity influences your design standards. We get to thank Warren Washington, a climate scientist who helped us understand rainfall risks, how rainfall impacts infrastructure. And of course, land affects water, water affects land. Thank you to George Washington Carver for giving us insights into how land practices affect water quality, linking nutrient runoff and watershed to public health safety. I do believe this work would still exist without the contributions of our innovators on the screen. But the work would have been slower, less innovative, and less equitable without the discoveries, expertise, and civic leadership. And in most settings like this, just as I'm doing today, we highlight the highest points of these innovators' lives and proudly celebrate their accomplishments. We have to keep their stories alive. But as I was preparing for today, I was reminded of something my daughter said to me as she was graduating with honors from undergrad a couple years ago. We were getting her dressed and I was just gushing over her because that's what moms do. And she was wearing her honors stole and honors pin. And I was like, oh my gosh, aren't you so proud of yourself? And she said, I am, Mom. I'm really proud of this accomplishment, but I'm most proud of the story behind this accomplishment because she had failed out her first year of college and then went on to suffer years-long bout with depression. And she was standing there that day, a couple of years later, wearing an honors pin as she graduated. So as I was reminded of that story and preparing for today, it made me think about what are their stories? You know, we highlight these high points in their lives, but what are their stories? So as a good scientist does, I started doing some thinking. Started doing some digging, and I found this video of Warren Washington, the climate scientist, telling how he got his start. So we'll listen in for a couple minutes.
I was always a kid who wanted to know how things worked. And when I was in high school, I took lots of courses in physics and chemistry and so forth and so on. And I decided that I wanted to be a scientist, even at probably the age of 10 or 12 or so. And when I got to the library and started using it to learn about what different scientists did, I came up with the idea that these came from families very similar to mine, where they came from ordinary homes and so forth and so on. And so I had the feeling in my mind, why can't I be a scientist?
When you were coming up, who was it that you looked up to as a mentor, as someone where you could see yourself doing that? Did you have anybody?
Chemistry teacher, she was very good. And I asked her on one day, why are egg yolks yellow? Mm-hmm. And she says, why don't you find out? And that started me on the search of because I got something called the Handbook of Chemistry.
He said the scientists came from families similar to mine. They came from ordinary homes, and they got me to thinking, why can't I be a scientist? So I want to pull on this thread of ordinary people and extraordinary contributions for a moment. So in addition to Dr. Washington's story, I began to find the stories of our Black innovators. Starting with Hazel Johnson. Again, she was a strong activist, a strong environmental justice activist. But originally, she started as an activist for fair housing in the city. And it wasn't until she moved to Altgeld Gardens with her husband, and shortly thereafter, he developed cancer and passed away. And she began hearing stories of others also becoming ill in the area. And that put her on this relentless push for environmental justice for the citizens within Chicago. That's what sparked her. It was personal for her. Warren Washington, we just heard about. I also discovered that he was a handyman at a hospital before he became Dr. Washington, a renowned climate scientist, and spent a lot of time doing the grunt work in a research lab before making his great discoveries in climate. And Katherine Johnson, we know her from Hidden Figures as the human computer. She was like counting. And I read one interview where she thinks all of the accolades received from the movie were absolutely ridiculous because They needed an answer. She had the answer, and she was just doing her job. She also considered herself just a normal person, an ordinary person, but she ended up doing something extraordinary. Mary Jackson, NASA's first Black female engineer. She was a math teacher originally, worked as a receptionist, bookkeeper, Army secretary, but ended up discovering innovations that impacts aerospace engineering to this day. And finally, George Washington Carver, he described himself as a drifter. In one of the interviews I found, this man owned a laundromat, bought and sold some real estate. He was a stenographer, a poet, a painter. And it wasn't until he got his degree in agriculture from Iowa State and Booker T. Washington called him down to Tuskegee is when he got into soil science. Ordinary folks doing extraordinary things. But the additional thing that's not up here, just like Warren Washington said, there's usually some sort of adult. Sometimes it's a teacher, sometimes it's a family member, sometimes it's a mentor who will see something in someone and ignite that spark and say, wow, either find out or you should go pursue this because you're really good at it. Which brings me to my own story. The introduction Commissioner Brown did, thank you so much, was so generous. And I have earned all of those accomplishments in my life. I was a doctor by the time I was 25. But just as my daughter was most proud of the story behind her accomplishment, I am too. Because how in the world does a young Black girl raised in a single parent, low income home, first generation college student, end up earning multiple degrees, serve as a senior leader in the fourth largest district in our nation, end up standing in front of you all at one of the county's largest government agencies, telling the story about Black excellence in STEM. Tell you how. It's from the encouragement of the adults around me who never told me I couldn't. They saw something in me and said, you know what? I don't know the answer to that. Why don't you figure it out? That was my mama's favorite phrase. Or the biology teacher that said, you know what, Kelli, you're really good at that. Have you thought about a career in science? And at that point I hadn't, but that teacher did encourage me to do so. And my guess is many of your own origin stories of you all sitting in this room today are similar. Ordinary folks doing extraordinary work to protect public health, prevent flooding disasters, and deliver clean drinking water to our homes. Look at you all. Ordinary folks doing extraordinary things. So before our heads get too big, I'm gonna switch gears for a second. I want to make this interactive for a moment, as I promised I would. So you all know better than anybody else in this county of what the next 100 years is going to require of all of us. So take a minute and for about 30 seconds, talk to the person next to you about any challenges you see coming ahead. We know infrastructure is going to age. We know like flooding is always a risk. We know contamination is always a risk. And our climate is changing at a rate that I don't think anybody expected. So just take a moment, chat with the person next to you about the problems either you're currently solving or problems you know we're going to need to solve within the next 100 years. So take just a few seconds. I'm gonna listen in. What'd you guys come up with? When we destroy this world. Yeah.
They can shout command.
All right, I'm gonna pull you back. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Such good conversations. I'm gonna pull you back. All right, I had to pull out one of my teacher moves of waiting. So I heard a couple things. I heard concerns about the environment in Lake Michigan and impacts of AI on our infrastructure. These are really complex and not one discipline problems. So like the previous century, I would consider all of these to be system-wide problems. So if these are the problems ahead, you will need a steady workforce and a diverse talent pipeline to solve them, because that's how we solved the previous century of problems. We're going to need to repeat and do the same thing again. So we've already established that innovation doesn't happen in isolation. And so therefore, our talent pipeline must become part of the infrastructure conversation. So the infrastructure question is now a talent question. Solving tomorrow's water challenges will require more individuals like you who can think on a system, county-wide level, and interdisciplinary level. And in order to do that, you're going to need individuals with confidence in STEM thinking. So let me give you a glimpse into where we are right now in our education system on meeting that talent and pipeline goal. I already heard some laughter. People know where I'm going with this. Okay, so it was just a couple of weeks ago. I was in one of our schools and I, get to wander in the classrooms, and I wandered into a kindergarten classroom and they were on centers. Do y'all know what the centers are? So kids are in small groups working on various skills. So I was, of course, drawn to the group working on math. And I was pleasantly surprised. The young lady I was observing and then eventually moved over to, she was working on an adaptive math program. So the program adjusts to the questions she was answering correctly. So she, 5 years old, worked like zooming through single addition problems. And then I sat down and then she stopped. She froze. She hesitated. She was on a problem. She looked at me. She looked at the computer. She looked back at me, almost like she wanted me to answer. And she even asked, like, what do you think it is? And then eventually, very quietly, she said, 4? So she said the answer like it was a question. And again, right before I sat down, she was zooming through the answers. And what I realized and what it felt like to me, she wasn't sure she was allowed to be right. Like she almost needed permission. So I, of course, reassured her and affirmed her, and I could see the expression on her face change. But that moment happens across so many classrooms. We don't have a problem of ability. We have a problem of confidence. And this is the story of how STEM pathways narrow, especially for Black and Brown youth. It's not through failure or lack of talent necessarily. It's through hesitation and lack of encouragement. So I'm here to tell you, and I'll say it again, this is really the message I want to cement and stamp today. We don't have an ability problem. We have a confidence problem. And this is another thing that should really get you all's attention. Students spend less than 20% of their waking hours in school. So by the time for their entire K-12 career, if you think about weekends, summers, throughout the school year, and we take all of those hours and calculate them, only 18% is actually in formal schooling. So even the best schools only have students for a fraction of that time. And if we really think about it, teachers aren't necessarily the kids' first educators. They don't even get to us until they're 5 years old. So a lot of their education happens before they get to us and happens before they arrive in the school each day and after they exit those school doors each day. And what happens in school is critically important. I, of course, the educator for almost 2 decades, is not trying to minimize, I'm not trying to minimize what happens in the school. But honestly, if we want young people to develop confidence in STEM, we can't put that responsibility only on school and the teachers. I'm here to tell you, we need your help. We need everybody's help in building this. And I promise we are working hard and we'll always work hard to do what we can while your children and your neighbors' children are with us. But this is a community effort. STEM identity and confidence is built everywhere. It's built in homes, communities, conversations. It's built in what young people hear adults say or not say about math, science, and problem solving. I see this happening K through 12, even with our high schoolers. At some point, and I'm going off script for a second, at some point, we stop challenging kids to do hard things. So they stop believing that they can do hard things. And then when all of a sudden we decide we need them to do something hard, they don't know how to engage. So I'm relying on you all because you know what it takes to be successful. You know the problems that are coming and you know the folks that you need standing by your side in order to solve those problems. So I promised there would be writing too. Many of you grabbed a little card on your way in. If you have a pen or something with you, and you don't have to do it now, but at some point before today is out, I'm asking each person to make a commitment and name one thing you could do to help a young person feel more confident in STEM. Just like Warren Washington, our climate sciences teacher, told him to figure it out when he had a curiosity about the egg yolk. It could just be one simple thing. It could be a question. Well, why do you think that is? Instead of answering it, put a question back on them. If they make an observation, hey, that thing is moving weird. And then you can just ask, well, how do you think that's possible? Or why do you think that's possible? And another easy one, well, what are your thoughts? So getting students more confident at answering the questions and curiosities they have is one way to help. So before we close, I want you to think of a young person in your head right now. It could be your own child, a niece, nephew, kid that walks on your grass all the time or gets too close to your car. Think of that. Think of that young person right now. And think of something, think of an opportunity you might have just to push them a little bit more, to do something hard, to use their brains, to think about more than scrolling or fashion or something like that. I'm gonna give you about 30 seconds. Write it down if you want. Those cards you picked up on the table outside or for that, but I'm gonna give you just a couple seconds to think about it. All right. So to close us out, the last century proved that Black excellence in STEM is absolutely undeniable. And the next century will be defined by whether we make confidence in STEM more visible, more intentional, and more accessible to the next generation. Because when we build that belief early, the talent needed in this organization to deliver the next century of solutions will follow. That's what I have for you today. Thank you for your time.
Everyone give Dr. Easterly a round of applause one more time. That was great, wasn't it? And she really got the wheels turning, got us thinking. Does anyone want to share? No pressure, but does anyone want to share what they're going to tell that kid that's either too close to their car, walking on their grass? All right, you don't have to share. I'll tell you what my neighbors used to tell me because I was that kid. Everything she said, that was me. They said I was nosy. I say I was curious. I had a lot of questions. I just needed answers. They said I was walking on that grass. I said I just fell off my bike. It was just, I just accidentally ended up there. But they just did a lot of, they started engaging in me, everyone in my village. Did a lot of things to keep me busy. Now that I'm older, I know that they were just trying to keep me busy. Whether they gave me a problem to solve, I got a lot of, well, what do you think? You go figure it out. We had the encyclopedias at home. My mom, we got the encyclopedias right there. Go figure it out. Go pull it out. Made up experiments that I had to do. So never underestimate these children. They want attention. So give them a project. Give them a project, give them something to do, give them an assignment. They'll be so happy to be included. They'll go and do it. But Dr. Easterly, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us and just getting us to think about those things. Your words remind us of the powerful role education plays in shaping a more equitable and innovative future, one where diversity strengthens our work and drives scientific and environmental progress. We are grateful for passion and commitment for the passion and commitment that you bring to future leaders in STEM. Once again, I thank all of you for participating in this year's Black History Month program. Many thanks to the staff who worked on this event, from my office, as well as Commissioner Brown's office, as well as Commissioner Brady Davis's office, and the staff in the Public Affairs Department, Environmental Justice and Diversity sections. We thank every staff member. If I missed your name, I'm sorry, but all the commissioners here today, Vice President Flynn, Commissioner Beth McElroy Kirkwood, we truly appreciate all of you all, not only lending your staff, but taking time out of your schedule to celebrate our Black culture, because it truly means a lot to us. And we look forward to the next celebration. I'm not sure what culture it will be, but I know we'll all be here celebrating it. Oh yeah, we got St. Patrick's Day coming up, so we know what that means. Shannon Rovers will be at the next board meeting, along with the Royal Court. But also, this concludes our program. I am going to have Zion Ali join me at the podium for a minute. He had a song that I heard when we went to see the Leo Choir Boys, me and Vice President Flynn, and it just moved me. So what I'm going to do, we are going to just pause for a minute, but what I'm going to do is we have an award to give out, but after we give awards, you all know the Board of Commissioners, we love to take pictures for social media, because if it's not on social media, it didn't happen. So we're gonna award our presenter, and while we're taking our pictures and everyone's gathering their things to get back to work, because we know we have a strict lunch, 1 hour, Zion Ali is going to sing to us so we can enjoy the moment while we're packing up. All right, so once again, really quick, to conclude our program, Dr. Easterly, we are honored to present you with this award in appreciation of your time, your insights, and your dedication to advancing excellence in STEM. Commissioners, let's all gather for a photo. And Dr. Easterly, will you come up here so we can give you a round of applause one more time? Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you all, and you all have a great afternoon. Thank you.
We'll have the music down here. Okay, cool. Ready, sir? Yes. Ooh. I was born by the river in a little tin, and oh, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know, yeah, a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause we don't know what's up there beyond those skies. It's been a long, beloved, a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. So this is what I did last week. So I go to the movies, then I go downtown, and all I keep hearing is, boy, don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Go, yeah. So I go to my brother, and I say, brother, help me please. Oh, yeah. Then he winds up knocking me, oh, yeah, back down on my knees. Oh, now there's been times when I thought I wasn't gonna last too long, but right now I feel like we're able, yeah, to carry on. It's been a long, beloved, a long time coming, but I know, yeah, a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Right on, right on.